Hey Blake, what are some bad reasons for leaving a church?
What are some bad reasons for leaving a church? Well, I think leaving a church off of purely preferences. So we all have preferences. Some of us like hot coffee, some of us like cold coffee. Some of us really don't like coffee all that much. Well, we can have preferences like that that are morally neutral. There's no really theological or eternal realities at stake over what kind of coffee you like, or I like, or you don't like at all. Unfortunately, some people view church like that, somewhat like a consumer would at a restaurant. They think about the temperature of the room, or how loud or how soft the music is, or how many programs a church does or doesn't have. And they actually put a lot of eggs, if you will, in a basket over preferences, things that are not necessarily from the Bible, or even things that make or break a true fellowship of a church. So I think some examples would be leaving a church because the music's too loud, or leaving a church because the sermons are too long, or leaving a church because you don't have the best kids ministry in town. You can have preferences, and those things can be useful to talk about, but bad reasons to leave a church would be off of things that are purely preferences. I think also there's bad ways to leave a church. So if you have relationship conflict with a brother or sister in Christ, they've hurt you, they've wounded you, but you just leave the church and you do what some have called in our modern day ghosting. You just kind of leave, disappear, and give a very ambiguous, foggy, smoke and mirrors kind of answer for leaving, like, God's leading us elsewhere. Well, I do believe God leads his people to do different things, but when there's really other reasons for you leaving a church and you throw God into it as like a super spiritual answer, but what really is you've been hurt and you don't want to actually work through that hurt. So I think there's bad reasons for leaving purely for preferences. I think there's also bad ways people leave churches that can be divisive, that can be hurtful to that church, but also hurtful to their own sanctification. So I think also it's bad to leave a church without giving the opportunity to express your differences of opinion or differences of theological reasonings with a brother or sister, or with an elder board or a pastor, and realizing that Christians can come down to different conclusions on a variety of issues and still love each other as brothers and sisters. And sometimes our differences shouldn't be a matter of breaking fellowship as church members. We should be able to work through those things. But if someone really does feel they can grow more spiritually at another church, under another man's ministry, under another local church's church polity, church ministry philosophy, or it might even be the fact that the church is closer to your home, which might make things easier across the board. Whatever the reasons are, we have to think through what is a preference issue or reason versus a biblical issue or reason, and then pray for wisdom, seek a multitude of counsel, and trust God to lead you through it all.